Many men believe their lives are out of control because of time, work, or circumstances. They think they can't move forward because the world moves too fast, because everything is urgent, because there's no room to breathe. But they are looking at the problem from the wrong angle. I, Brian Tracy, have learned that life does not organize itself. Life does not fall into place by luck. Life is mastered with intention. If you don't force yourself to bring order, chaos will decide for you. And that disorder not only drains your energy, it also destroys your dreams. Every day you live without structure is a day you waste without realizing it. You don't need more hours. You need more focus. You don't need to do more. You need to do the right things. When you get organized, you don't just manage your time. You direct your life. Because success is not some far-off goal. It's the accumulated result of days well spent. And if you decide today to take control, to commit to organizing every area of your life, your path will change, your mind will calm, your purpose will align, and everything will start responding. Because when you create order within yourself, the world stops pushing you and begins to open before you. Organizing your life is not a luxury, it's an urgency. It's the line that separates the man who moves forward from the one who gets lost in distractions. Most people live reactively. They wake up late, rush from place to place, forget commitments, arrive just on time, delay important decisions, and by the end of the day, they don't even know where their time went. They live tired, confused, overwhelmed, and yet they believe they need more motivation. But it's not motivation they lack. It's order. Without order, your energy scatters, your mind becomes unclear, your goals fade, and you become a prisoner of the chaos you allow. Organizing your life begins with a firm decision to stop improvising, to accept that every part of your day, no matter how small it seems, has a real impact on your future. And that begins with taking control of your time. It's not about obsessing over clocks or endless lists. It's about stopping the habit of giving away your hours to chance. Time is your most valuable resource, yet you treat it as if it were infinite. It is not. Every minute left, without direction, is a buried opportunity, a piece of your life you will never get back. That's why you need to sit down with yourself and design your day. What time do you wake up? What do you do in the first hour? What tasks do you repeat that add no value? At what time of day are you most productive? You cannot improve what you haven't measured. And if you don't structure it, you will keep spinning in circles. But organizing your life is not only about time, it's also about space. A messy environment reflects a crowded mind. The place where you sleep, work, eat, or rest should help you focus, not distract you. It's not about perfection. It's about functionality. Every object should have its place. Every tool should be within reach. Every corner should invite you to move forward, not to stay stuck, because your environment shapes your behavior more than you realize. You want mental clarity, yet you live with constant visual noise. You want energy, yet you don't even know where your own tools are. Change that. Your physical space must be your first ally, not your silent enemy. And here's a deeper truth. The disorder you tolerate on the outside is a reflection of the disorder you accept within. Your habits, your relationships, your emotions, your finances, your goals all need structure. You can't have peace if you live putting out fires every day. You can't have vision if you don't even know what you are focused on today. Order is not rigidity. It's freedom. It gives you room to rest, to think better, to decide with clarity. It gives you the peace of knowing you're in charge, that you don't live at the mercy of whatever happens, but according to what you chose with intention. Organization is discipline in action. It's accepting that your life will not change magically, that if you don't shape it, it will deform on its own, that if you don't hold it with structure, it will collapse with the first distraction. And that doesn't make you a boring man. It makes you a powerful one. Because the man who controls his time, his surroundings, and his decisions controls his destiny. And in a chaotic world full of scattered men, the one who lives with structure stands out, earns respect, inspires trust, and achieves results because he doesn't depend on the emotion of the moment. He relies on a system that supports him. And that system is built when you commit to organizing your life, even if it's hard, even if it feels uncomfortable at first, because in that effort lies the beginning of your transformation. An organized life is not built on good intentions. It's built on systems. And a system is nothing more than a series of smart decisions repeated every day without negotiation. When you think big but act without structure, the result is frustration. You have huge dreams, but no habits to support them. You have brilliant ideas, but your calendar is filled with urgent, empty tasks. You have talent, but your energy is wasted on interruptions, distractions, and activities that bring you no closer to anything. And so months pass, and nothing changes. Because without a system to organize your life, you spend your days putting out fires that you created yourself by not planning ahead. Organizing your life is learning to make high-value decisions. It's understanding that not all activities are equal. Some tasks create progress. Others only take up space. Some bring you closer to your vision. Others simply make you feel busy. The average man confuses activity with productivity. He runs all day, arrives at night exhausted, yet makes no real progress. You cannot afford that luxury. You need clarity on what is essential. What activities move the needle? What habits sustain your energy? What actions produce concrete results? Those are the ones that must take priority. The rest should be eliminated, delegated, or postponed. Do this. Define your 3 daily priorities. Not 10, not 20, 3, the most important ones. Write them down the night before, and the next day, before answering messages, before checking social media, before letting the world interrupt you. Do them. Keep your word to yourself first, because when you do the important before the urgent, your life begins to change. You regain control, you regain peace, and you regain the sense that you are building something worthwhile. Most people live reactively. You must live with direction, and that direction does not appear by itself. It is designed, protected, and repeated. Organizing your life also means learning to say no, because if you can't set boundaries, you will be a victim of other people's agendas. Accepting everything, replying to everything, participating in everything, it fragments you, drains you, and steals time from what truly matters. Every time you say yes to the irrelevant, you are saying no to the valuable. That's why an organized man is not the one who does the most things. He is the one who does the right things. And to do them, he needs space, focus, and the courage to reject what is unnecessary. You are not here to please everyone. You are here to build something great. And that requires order, filters, and tough decisions. Understand this with absolute clarity. It's not that you don't have time, it's that you are not using the time you have wisely. Everyone has the same 24 hours. The difference is not in the amount, it's in the intention. There are men who with just 2 free hours a day transform their bodies, their finances, and their mindset. How do they do it? With structure, with systems, with priorities. While others complain about time, they are already executing, because they know time is neutral. But how you use it is not. And if you decide to structure each day intelligently, your income stretches further, your mind becomes organized, your energy multiplies, and your entire life transforms. You cannot build anything solid if your day is like a game of roulette. You need rituals. You need focus blocks. You need moments of reflection. You need mental, physical, and emotional order, because all of these feed into each other. An organized calendar creates clarity. An organized room creates peace. An organized mind makes better decisions. And an organized life becomes unstoppable. Not because it's perfect, but because it knows where it's going. And that becomes your new standard, not doing more, but doing what's necessary, with intention, with focus, and with discipline. That is what will pull you out of chaos. That is what will make you free. That is what will turn you into a truly organized, and therefore powerful man. Organizing your life also means doing a deep cleanup of your relationships. Yes, because no matter how much order you bring to your calendar or your desk, if you are surrounded by people who drain you, distract you, or sabotage you, your progress will be slow, confusing, or non-existent. Most people underestimate the power of their human environment. They think they can grow in the middle of emotional chaos, empty conversations, and negative people who spend their time complaining, mocking, or wasting time. But that's like trying to run with a backpack full of stones. You can do it, but not for long. If you want order in your life, you need order in your connections. Take inventory of your relationships. Ask yourself, does this person lift me up or pull me down? Do they challenge me or lull me into complacency? Do they push me forward or hold me back? It's not about becoming cold or cruel. It's about protecting your energy. Because your energy is your most valuable resource after time. And if you waste it on meaningless conversations, stagnant relationships, and unnecessary drama, your entire system will collapse. Organization is also emotional, social, and energetic. That's why order is not only seen in your schedule, it's visible in who you spend your time with, the kind of conversations you have, and the standards you allow around you. Start by setting boundaries. You don't need to respond immediately to every message. You don't have to be available to everyone. You are not obligated to carry other people's problems as if they were your own. Learn to say, "Not right now, I need to focus. Today, I'm not available." These boundaries are not selfish, they are wise. Because you cannot build a powerful life if you live constantly interrupted, if your energy is drained by others, if every time you want to move forward something or someone pulls you down. Disorder can also take the shape of people, and you must have the courage to recognize it. And it's not just about walking away from what limits you, it's also about getting closer to what lifts you up. Look for people who live with intention, who value their time, who take care of themselves, who talk about ideas, not just complaints, who think about goals, not only problems. When you are close to men and women who already live with structure, focus, and vision, you start to absorb that energy. That silent demand forces you to grow, inspires you, makes you more intentional, because what surrounds you shapes you, whether you like it or not. And if you can't find that environment, build it. Don't put your progress in other people's hands. Create your own spaces. Choose who you follow on social media. Choose what you consume. Choose what kind of information enters your mind, because all of that is also part of order. Every stimulus you allow into your day has an effect, and if you don't filter it, you get contaminated. And if you get contaminated, your focus scatters, and if your focus scatters, your growth stops. It's that simple. That's why a truly organized man is also a selective man. He knows what to say yes to. He knows what to say no to. And above all, he knows who he walks with. You cannot build a powerful life if you are surrounded by human chaos, by emotions that are not yours, by energies that don't understand your vision. You are called to something greater. And to get there, you need clarity in every area: mental, physical, financial, emotional, and relational. Everything is part of the system. Everything is connected. Everything has an impact. So start organizing your relationships. Not out of pride, but out of vision. Not out of rejection, but out of responsibility to yourself. Because your environment is a reflection of your decisions. And if you want your life to reflect greatness, your environment has to start looking like that greatness today. No excuses, no fear, with firmness, with direction, with order. Organizing your life is not only about schedules and tasks, it's also about purpose. Because there's no point in having every minute planned if you don't know why you are living. And this is the great mistake of many men. They fill their days with activities, routines, and other people's goals, but inside they are empty. They keep up with everything except themselves. They run, they produce, they work, but they don't stop to ask if all that effort is taking them where they truly want to go. True order starts with direction, with a clear why. Because when you have clarity of purpose, organizing your life is no longer a burden. It becomes a natural need. Everything starts to fall into place because everything starts to make sense. This is also a good moment to remind you that if this content is helping you refocus and make important decisions, you can subscribe to keep strengthening your mindset, your discipline, and your personal growth. And let me ask you something directly. What is the most disorganized area of your life today? And what is it costing you not to bring it into order? Write it down in the comments. Not for others, but for yourself. Because sometimes naming it clearly is the first step to transforming it firmly. Organization is not an end, it's a means, a tool that brings you closer to a life of intention, a life that doesn't just drift with the current, but chooses its route. And that's why if you truly want to be organized, you must first know where you are going, what kind of man you want to be, how you want to live in 5 years, what kind of relationships you want to have, what legacy you want to leave. Because those answers determine what goes into your calendar, what goes into your wallet, what goes into your surroundings. Purpose is the master filter. Anything that doesn't feed it gets in the way, and what gets in the way must be removed. But here's the most important part. You don't need to have everything figured out to start. Your purpose may be unclear at first. It may change over time, and that's okay. What cannot happen is for you to live on autopilot, never asking questions, never making adjustments. Organizing your life starts with honesty, with taking pauses, reviewing, and correcting your path from time to time. It's like an airplane pilot. He doesn't keep a perfect course all the time, but he has a clear destination, and that's why he makes small adjustments constantly. You must do the same, because without review, disorder comes back. Without reflection, mistakes repeat, and without intention, time slips away. Make purpose your compass. Every time you doubt whether to do something, ask yourself, does this align with who I want to be, or does it pull me away? And if you don't know the answer yet, you will still be closer than if you never asked, because you are waking up your awareness. You are stopping yourself from living in automatic mode. You are taking control, and when you do that, your energy changes, your surroundings respond, your decisions become stronger, and your life starts to move to a different rhythm. Not the chaotic rhythm of the modern world, but the strategic rhythm of a man who knows what he wants and organizes himself to achieve it. You don't need more time, you don't need another opportunity, you just need to sit down with yourself and put your priorities in order. Because where there is order, there is power, where there is purpose, there is direction, and where there is direction, there are results. So today, start there, turn off the noise, write things down, define, review, organize, because inner clarity turns into outer action. And when that happens, nothing can stop you. A man with purpose doesn't need daily motivation, he just needs structure. And you are building it right now, step by step, decision by decision, day by day. That is the real transformation, and it has already begun. Organizing your life also requires putting your finances in order, because no matter how hard you work to have productive habits, healthy relationships, or a strong mindset, if your personal finances are in disorder, you will live with anxiety, stress, and a constant feeling of vulnerability. And there is no real growth in the middle of financial uncertainty. There is no freedom when every expense makes you feel guilty. There is no clear vision if your money disappears and you don't even know where it went. That's why it doesn't matter how much you earn. It matters how you manage it. It's not about having more. It's about knowing how to handle what you already have with intelligence, intention, and absolute discipline. Many men have decent incomes, but their lifestyle drags them down. They spend without a plan, buy on impulse, go into debt to impress others, and then wonder why they are not moving forward. The answer is simple. You cannot put your life in order if you don't put your money in order. Money isn't everything, but it affects everything. It impacts your mental health, your decisions, your peace, and your opportunities. And the first step to having organized finances is not to earn more, it's to face your numbers, make a budget, know how much comes in, how much goes out, and where it goes. You cannot improve what you don't measure. You cannot grow if you don't know where you are failing. Do this. Take a notebook and write down your fixed expenses, then record your variable expenses from the last month. Be brutally honest. Don't justify anything, just observe. There you will clearly see which leaks are unnecessary, which habits are stealing your freedom, and what adjustments you need to make. Then set a minimum savings percentage, even if it's just 5% of your income. The important thing is to start, because this habit trains you to prioritize the future over short-term pleasure. And that mindset is key for any deep transformation. Financial order is not a punishment. It is a tool of power. It's the base for making calm decisions, for investing with vision, for living with dignity. And here's an uncomfortable truth. If you don't know how to live on less than you earn, you will always be poor, even if your income increases. Because it's not income that determines your freedom, it's control. And control begins by cutting emotional spending, by stopping the habit of justifying whims with phrases like, "I deserve it," or "You only live once." Yes, you deserve well-being, but a lasting well-being, not one that ruins your budget every month. You deserve to live well, but not at the cost of your peace. You deserve to enjoy, but with strategy, not guilt. And all of that happens when you force yourself to organize your finances as an essential part of your life. And don't forget this, money is an extension of your inner structure. If you are chaotic in your mind, you will be chaotic in your wallet. If you are disorganized with your time, you will be disorganized with your spending. That's why when you organize your money, you are also organizing your mind. You are training your ability to decide, to delay gratification, to think long-term. And that is one of the most powerful skills a man can develop. because it makes you someone reliable, someone who not only earns, but also manages, someone who not only dreams, but also builds on a solid foundation. If you organize your life, but still leave your finances to chance, you are leaving a crack open, and through that crack, opportunities, energy, and self-esteem escape. Financial organization is not just a technical matter, it is emotional, mental, and spiritual. It's a way of telling life, I take what I receive seriously, and when you do that, life responds. Doors open, stress decreases, focus increases, because you are no longer surviving, you are leading. You are no longer trapped, you are building. So review your accounts, make your budget, remove what doesn't help, prioritize what expands you, and most of all, commit to living with financial order, no matter how much you earn, because it's not about quantity, it's about mindset. If your mind is focused, your money will be too. And then you'll be ready to grow for real, with structure, with strategy, with purpose, with power. Organizing your life also means creating a personal routine that becomes your daily base, your platform for energy, focus, and mental clarity. Many men underestimate the value of a good routine, thinking it's boring, repetitive, or unnecessary. But the truth is, routine is one of the most powerful secrets of the most successful men in the world. Not because it takes away freedom, but because it gives them structure to use their freedom wisely. A good routine is not a prison, it's a runway. Without it, every day begins in chaos, in improvisation, in doubt. Your body takes longer to start. Your mind wanders. Your energy scatters. And at the end of the day, all that's left is tiredness, frustration, and the feeling you didn't do anything truly important. A well-built routine is like mental armor. It's a set of pre-made decisions that save you energy, align you with your priorities, and keep you focused on what really matters. You don't have to think about whether you'll work out, read, or work on your personal project. It's already decided. That frees mental space to focus on bigger things. Remember, every decision you leave to chance uses up willpower. And if every morning you have to convince yourself to do the right thing, you're wasting energy you could use to move faster. Start with your morning. How does your day begin? Do you wake up late, grab your phone, scroll through social media, rush through a shower, and leave without direction? Or do you wake up with intention? Take time to breathe, to move, to think. Your morning sets your day. If your first hour is disorganized, the rest of the day will carry that disorder. So build a morning routine that lifts you up. You don't need 3 hours or magic formulas. Just simple but powerful habits. Wake up early, hydrate, move your body, read something uplifting, write down your priorities, give thanks. Don't try to make it perfect, make it consistent, because real power is in consistency. Then structure your workday, divide it into blocks. Clearly define when you work, when you rest, when you learn. Don't mix everything. Multitasking is a silent enemy. It makes you feel productive while it sabotages you. Do one thing at a time, but do it with excellence. Use timers, remove distractions, set specific goals for each block. Every hour should have an owner. Every block should have a purpose. If you don't take control, laziness will. Social media will. Other people's emergencies will. At the end of the day, create a closing ritual. Review what you achieved. Write down what didn't go well. Plan the next day. Be grateful for what you have. Disconnect from noise. Give your mind the signal that it's time to rest. Don't go to sleep with chaos. Don't end the day with loose ends. Close your day with intention and awareness that teaches your mind that you are in charge, that there's structure, that there's order. Over time, this turns into an inner feeling of power, direction, and real progress. It doesn't matter if you fail one day or step out of the plan. What matters is coming back. Back to the structure, back to the routine, back to what gives you strength. Each time you do, you become stronger, more disciplined, more resilient. That's worth more than any burst of motivation. That's what builds a man with purpose. A man who doesn't live in reaction, but in creation. A man who doesn't depend on his mood, but on his system. So design your routine, write it down, adjust it, protect it. Don't let others break it, because your routine is your temple, your center, your secret tool. And in a world full of disorder, the man with a routine has the advantage. He doesn't start from zero every day, he starts from his best self. Repeated for weeks, months, years, this turns into inevitable success, solid greatness, and a future that wasn't luck, but the result of choosing order as a lifestyle. You can start today with a small adjustment, with a firm decision, with a system that's yours, made for you, sustained by your vision, defended by your character, and that changes everything. Organizing your life also means mastering your attention, because in the end your life is what you pay attention to. If your mind is constantly fragmented, jumping between notifications, random thoughts, and half-done tasks, then your life will also be fragmented. It doesn't matter how many goals you have or how good your plan sounds. If you don't control your focus, you will never execute anything with real depth. And that's the big problem of our time. Men no longer have the ability to concentrate. They live surrounded by noise, by constant distractions. And at the end of the day, they wonder, why do I feel like I didn't make progress? Why am I exhausted without doing anything truly important? The answer is simple. Their attention was stolen. Focus doesn't appear on its own. It's something you train. And like any training, it requires conscious effort. You have to decide when to disconnect from the noise. You have to create spaces for deep work, deep thinking, and real silence. If you don't, you'll always be in reaction mode, jumping from one stimulus to another, doing half-finished tasks, and piling up frustration. A man who doesn't control his attention is like an archer shooting arrows without looking at the target. Lots of activity, but no impact. Lots of movement, but no real achievement. Want to move forward faster? Start by removing everything that steals your focus. Turn off notifications. Mute groups that add no value. Delete apps that only entertain you but don't build you. Set specific times to check messages, reply to emails, and consume content. Don't be a slave to your phone. Use technology, but don't let it use you. Your mind is your most powerful tool, and you can't leave it exposed all day to digital chaos. Every interruption, no matter how small, breaks your flow, lowers your energy, and weakens your willpower. If you don't stop it, it becomes a habit of distraction, a habit of mediocrity. This isn't about living like an isolated monk. It's about living with awareness, choosing moments of focus, and protecting your time as if it were gold, because it is. You can't do deep work in the middle of shallow interruptions, and you can't build an extraordinary life with ordinary focus. The world values men who know how to concentrate, men who can sit for 2 hours to solve a problem, who can think without running away every few seconds, who are not afraid of silence, because silence is not emptiness. Silence is the space where powerful ideas are born. Create focus rituals. For example, every morning before talking to anyone, dedicate 1 hour to your most important project, without distractions, just you, your mind, and your task. Train your brain to hold attention. At first it will be hard. You'll feel restless. You'll want to check your phone. Resist it. Stay with it. Every minute you hold your focus is a victory. And those small victories added up will make you unstoppable. Because in a world full of distraction, the man who masters his focus masters his destiny. Remember this. Where your attention goes, your life goes. If your attention is scattered, your life will be scattered. But if your attention is directed, your life will take shape. And the best part is you don't need special talent to achieve this. You only need intention, discipline, and the courage to say no to what doesn't build you. Every day you can train your focus like a muscle. The stronger your attention becomes, the more powerful your ability to create, solve, and make an impact. So today, do a deep cleaning of your mental world. Remove what's unnecessary. Simplify your surroundings. Create spaces for real concentration. Because a man who protects his focus protects his power. And when that power is combined with structure, clarity, and purpose, it changes everything. You no longer live reacting, you live directing. You no longer live distracted, you live awake. You no longer live in chaos, you live in control. And in this noisy era, that is an advantage few have, but you can have it if you choose from today to protect the most valuable thing you have, your ability to focus, your inner compass, your creative force, your mind. Organizing your life also means putting your emotions in order, because no matter how much you plan, work, or control your environment, if you don't know how to manage what you feel, you will end up sabotaging your own progress. Many men fall into this mistake. They think organization is only about logic, technique, and strategy, and they forget that their emotional state defines their daily behavior. You can't be consistent if your emotions pull you around. You can't make good decisions if you live ruled by fear, guilt, or frustration. And you can't build a powerful life if you don't have inner peace. Emotional order is not obvious at first sight, but it is the invisible foundation of every truly stable life. Your emotions are not your enemy, but they are not your guide either. They are signals, information, and you must learn to listen to them without turning them into dictators. If you feel anxiety, observe it. Ask yourself what message it brings. If you feel anger, examine its cause. If you feel sadness, give it space, but don't drown in it. Emotional organization begins when you stop reacting impulsively to every emotion that appears. When you understand that you are not what you feel, you are the one who chooses what to do with what you feel. And that distinction is the beginning of your inner maturity. Many people live trapped in emotional cycles. They get motivated, take action, something goes wrong. They get frustrated, quit, and start over again. That is not a flaw in character, it's a lack of emotional management. If you don't know how to sustain effort when enthusiasm fades, you're at a disadvantage. Positive emotion can drive you forward, yes, but it won't last forever. What takes you far is not feeling good every day, it's doing the right thing even when you don't feel like it. And that is only possible when there is order within, when your emotions don't decide for you, but you observe them, process them, and keep moving forward with focus. One practical way to organize your emotions is to create a daily space for introspection. It doesn't have to be long, just a few minutes each night to review how you felt during the day. What triggered you? What hurt you? What brought you? What brought you? Write it down if necessary. Because what is not named gets stuck, and what is repeated without awareness becomes a pattern. You need to identify your emotional patterns if you want to break free from them. What throws you off track? What makes you procrastinate? What kinds of thoughts cloud your mind? This information is gold because once you detect it, you can begin to deactivate it, replace it, and overcome it. And remember, this is not about suppressing emotions, but about channeling them. Sadness can turn into reflection. Anger can turn into the impulse to take action. Anxiety can be a signal to redirect. But all of that is only possible if there is internal structure. If you are willing to look inward, to do the uncomfortable work of knowing yourself, understanding yourself, and healing yourself. Because that silent, emotional, deep work is what determines whether your external organization has solid roots or not. You cannot put order on the outside if you are broken on the inside. Sooner or later, internal chaos leaks out. Start seeing your emotions as indicators, not as absolute truths. Not everything you feel is real. Not every negative thought deserves your attention. Not every intense emotion deserves an immediate reaction. You are not here to react, you are here to lead. And leading also means mastering your inner world with compassion. Yes, but also with firmness. Because peace is not found by accident, it is built. And that peace, when you cultivate it daily, becomes an anchor, your refuge, your most stable source of power. So if you truly want to organize your life, start by organizing your emotional world, not to control everything, but to navigate it with more awareness, not to avoid pain, but to understand it, not to repress what you feel, but to use it as fuel, because every emotion is an opportunity to know yourself, to strengthen yourself, to transcend. And when you learn to do that consistently, your life becomes clearer, lighter, and more focused. You no longer drag yourself internally, you walk with firmness. You no longer live on autopilot, you live with intention. And that, in a world full of emotional noise, makes you exceptional, someone who not only plans well, but also lives in peace. And from that peace, everything else flows with order, with direction, with power. Organizing your life also requires putting order into your relationships, because no matter how disciplined you are, how much you advance, or how clear your vision is, if you are surrounded by people who drain your energy, sabotage your growth, or constantly push you toward disorder, you will eventually fall back. The relationships you choose are an extension of your mental environment. They either lift you up or drag you down. They give you clarity or fill you with noise. They push you toward your best self or pull you back to your weakest self. That's why if you truly want to transform your life, it's not enough to work only on yourself. You must also examine, filter, and reorganize who you allow into your world. Make a mental list right now. Who are the people that most influence your decisions, your mood, your daily routine? Who inspires you to be more disciplined, more aware, more organized? And who distracts you, makes you lose focus, or fills your mind with thoughts you no longer want to cultivate? This is not about judging or fighting with anyone. It's about choosing with maturity, because a relationship can be comfortable but toxic. It can have years of history but be completely disconnected from your future, and you are not obligated to drag bonds along just for the sake of nostalgia. Your only real obligation is to yourself, to your growth, to your life's mission. Many times personal disorder stays alive because there are relationships that feed it. Friends who normalize chaos, who cheer you on when you quit, who justify your lack of commitment. Partners who don't share your vision for the future, who don't support your discipline, who prefer a stagnant life because change demands too much. Family members who criticize every attempt at improvement, who mock your goals, who project their own fears onto you. You cannot change others, but you can change the limits you set. And those limits are the most powerful tool of emotional and strategic order you can apply to your relationships. Clearly define your values, what you allow and what you don't. What conversations will you accept? What behaviors will you block? And not only with words, but with actions, because respect is not demanded, it is modeled. If you take yourself seriously, others will too. If you respect yourself, your environment will adjust. Only those who don't align with you will leave. Those who connect with you will come closer. You don't have to force anything. You just have to be consistent. Living in order also means having healthy, clear relationships based on mutual purpose, not emotional need. That's built by choosing, by letting go of what's comfortable but destructive and opening up to what's new, even if it feels uncomfortable at first. Now, this is not about isolating yourself. It's about surrounding yourself with people who help you maintain order. Look for men who already live with focus, who have already walked the path you want to follow. Learn from them, listen to them, be inspired. And if they're not nearby, find them in books, conferences, or content that strengthens your mindset, because your environment can also be digital. If every day you consume voices that remind you of your purpose, that challenge you, that make you think more deeply, that environment starts to reprogram your mind, and your mind starts to restructure your life. Finally, remember the most important relationship you need to put in order is the one with yourself. Many times, external disorder reflects a broken inner relationship. You speak to yourself harshly, demand from yourself without compassion, constantly let yourself down, and that wears you out. Learn to treat yourself the way you would treat someone you love deeply. With discipline, yes, but also with patience, with long-term vision, with faith in who you can become. Because when you are at peace with yourself, you don't need so much from the outside, and that makes you freer, more selective, stronger. So today, make decisions about your environment. Stop lying to yourself. Don't delay necessary conversations. Don't allow what you already know you shouldn't. Your peace, your energy, and your focus are too valuable to share with someone who doesn't know how to care for them. When you put order into your relationships, you'll see how everything else aligns, your habits, your productivity, your confidence, because being surrounded by people who lift you up is like having the wind at your back, and you deserve that. You just have to choose it and protect it every day as a key part of your path to a truly organized, focused, and fulfilling life. Organizing your life is not just a personal project, it's an act of respect for your own existence. It's recognizing that you're not here to simply survive among endless tasks, complaints, distractions, and uncontrolled emotions. You're here to create something with your life, to build a story worth living. And that story doesn't write itself. It's written with structure, direction, and daily decisions that show you know what you want and won't wait any longer to start, because time won't wait for you. If you don't put your life in order, life will do it for you through crises, losses, and chaos. Not as punishment, but because disorder always charges a price sooner or later, and the longer you delay order, the higher the cost will be. You don't need to have everything figured out to start. You just need to take control of one area, even a small one. Maybe it's your schedule, your room, your diet, your finances, or your social circle, but start there. Order is not a destination, it's a practice, a daily training, a commitment to yourself that grows stronger each time you choose it, even when you don't feel like it. And when you do, something changes. Your mind clears, your decisions become simpler, your self-esteem rises because you start to see that you can trust yourself, that you can hold yourself steady, that you can move forward step by step with confidence. Many people look for change in expensive courses, motivational books, or spiritual retreats, but the most brutal and freeing truth is this: your life will change when you force yourself to put it in order. not tomorrow, not when you have time, not when everything calms down. Now with what you have, even in the middle of chaos if needed, because waiting for perfect conditions is just another way of delaying your greatness. And greatness is built with imperfection, but with direction. It doesn't matter if you fall. It doesn't matter if it takes time. What matters is that you are no longer drifting. You are taking the wheel. You are stopping the constant reaction and starting to lead. This is not about becoming a hyper-productive robot. It's about becoming a man with meaning, with purpose, who knows his time is limited, his energy is valuable, and his life deserves order, not out of vanity, but out of vision, because he wants to go far, because he refuses to be just a spectator of his own existence. He wants to be the author, the architect, the one responsible. That kind of man doesn't need the world's applause. It's enough for him to know each night that he did what he had to do, that he lived with intention, that he moved forward even if no one saw him, that he organized his life, not because of outside pressure, but because of self-respect. Maybe no one taught you this. Maybe you grew up surrounded by disorder. Maybe your role models were chaotic. Maybe you believed living like that was normal. But now you know, order is a tool of power, an expression of self-respect, a way to give yourself the life you deserve, not the perfect life, but a structured one, with room to grow, to fail without collapsing, to get up without starting from zero every time. And that's not boring. It's freeing, because when everything has its place, you also find yours. So do it, not out of pressure, not for appearances, but because you now understand that living in disorder is living in a constant war with yourself. And you don't want more internal battles. You want to move forward, to create, to build. And that starts by putting each piece in its place, with patience, with discipline, with vision, with strength. Because a man who organizes himself transforms, and a man who transforms changes everything around him, his home, his work, his legacy, his world. That man can be you, if you start today, if you choose today, if you stop delaying. The order you need is already inside you. You just have to activate it, protect it, and maintain it, because no one will come to do it for you. No one. This is your task, your responsibility, your opportunity, and when you take it, everything changes.